You know, when you look at certain plants, they almost look like they're covered in jewels, right? Well, deep in the wetlands of the world, there's this tiny little predator that shimmers like it's covered in diamonds. But that beauty is hiding a pretty ruthless secret. So today, let's uncover the glistening deception of the sundew.
That's right. So what looks like this delicate, dew-kissed marvel of nature is actually one of its most efficient and deadly traps.
All right, let's pull back the curtain on this whole glistening deception. The plant's called a sundew, or Drosera, and that name actually comes from the Greek word for dewdrop. And for centuries, that's literally what people thought they were seeing. Turns out, they were way off.
I mean, you can see why insects are drawn to this. Those glistening drops catch the sunlight, and they look exactly like nectar or fresh water, a totally irresistible invitation if you're a small fly, gnat, or mosquito. It's a masterpiece of natural mimicry, just putting on this show of refreshment and life.
Okay, so to really understand the trap, we have to look a little closer at the architecture of this killer plant. This isn't just some passive flypaper. It's a dynamic, sensory machine, and it is built for one single purpose: predation.
So here's the absolute key. Those dewdrops, they are not water. They're a substance called mucilage. Just think of it as nature's superglue, a really complex mix of sugars and proteins that's incredibly sticky. It even pulls moisture right out of the air, which is how it stays fresh and glistening, always ready for its next victim. And these drops of glue are made by these tiny, stalked glands that cover the leaves. They're called tentacles, and they are the heart of this whole mechanism. They're not just little glue dispensers. They are sophisticated sensors that can detect both the touch and the chemical signature of their prey. Now what's really cool is that not all these tentacles are created equal. You basically got two teams working together. On the edge of the leaf, you have the marginal tentacles. Let's call them the grabbers. They're long, they're mobile, and their whole job is to bend in and secure the prey. Then, in the middle, you've got the disc tentacles, the digesters. They're shorter, and their main job is to pump out the enzymes that break down the meal. It's this perfectly coordinated two-part system. So how does this all come together to actually catch something? Because it's not just about being sticky. Oh no. This is a deliberate, unstoppable embrace that unfolds in slow motion.
Okay, check out this whole sequence. Step 1, of course, is attraction. Then, step 2, the instant an insect touches just one tentacle, it is stuck. And the more it struggles, the worse things get. Its panicked movements trigger the other tentacles, the grabbers, to start curling inward. That's step 3, entrapment, pushing the prey towards the center until it forms what is basically a living cage. And finally, step 4, envelopment. The entire leaf itself starts to curl up, wrapping the insect to get as much contact as possible for digestion.
And this, right here, is where the sundew's genius really shines. It doesn't waste energy. The tentacles aren't just triggered by touch. They're triggered by specific chemicals, like amino acids, that are found in an insect's body. This lets the plant tell the difference between a nutrient-packed meal and a false alarm, like a raindrop or just a bit of dust.
But why on earth did this plant evolve to become a predator in the first place? I mean, that's a pretty big leap, right? Well, the answer isn't about aggression. It's all about a desperate need for survival. This is an engine perfected by necessity. You see, sundews grow in places like bogs where the soil is, well, terrible. It's super acidic and has almost no nutrients. There's just not enough nitrogen or phosphorus for a normal plant to live. So, carnivory is the answer. Insects provide all that crucial nitrogen and phosphorus. The plant even makes a special enzyme called chitinase just to break down the tough exoskeletons of its prey.
And you know what? This survival strategy has been wildly successful. We're talking about over 200 different species of sundew found on pretty much every continent, each one perfectly adapted to its unique nutrient-poor home. It's just a testament to the power of this evolutionary path.
For the longest time, the real nature of this plant was a total mystery. While Linnaeus gave it its name way back in 1753, it was Charles Darwin who in 1875 really cracked the case. He ran tons of experiments and proved without a doubt that the sundew wasn't just catching insects by accident. It was actively luring, trapping, and digesting them. His incredible work laid the foundation for everything we know today.
But like a lot of these stories of evolutionary genius, there's a modern-day epilogue. The very thing that makes the sundew so remarkable, its specialization, is also what makes it incredibly vulnerable.
Sundews are being threatened on multiple fronts. Their wetland homes are being drained for development.
And here's the ironic part. Pollution, especially fertilizer runoff, is one of the biggest dangers. It makes the nutrient-poor soil rich, which allows other, faster-growing plants to move in and just choke out the highly adapted sundews. And then, of course, you've got climate change, threatening the very delicate water balance these plants have to survive.
So when you think about it, the sundew is this perfect example of life finding a way, of genius being born from scarcity. And it leaves you with a really fascinating question. In the most inhospitable, harshest corners of our planet, what other incredible hidden wonders are just waiting to be discovered?